Good morning, beginning farmer friends. It is actually a big day on the farm today because that big Vermeer water tank that we had that I had sitting out in my line of stuff for sale, it's gone. A guy actually came and bought it. I'll try to put a picture of it somewhere in the frame of this video so you know what I'm talking about. But the guy actually came and bought it, and I asked him what he was planning on doing with it, and he said he was going to make a deer blind out of it. I never would have thought of that. These people, they're so resourceful. I've got my truck plugged in. I don't know if I have showed you this yet, but I'm still having problems with my truck not wanting to start even when it's not super cold. I put this little pigtail post in right here so that I could always just hang the extension cord by it. Always be able to plug it in and have it ready to go. So I'm going to unplug it and we're going to move the truck and we're going to go get some straw. Before I left the farm, I thought I'd come over and check the water. It looks like I could actually raise the level a little bit. When I thought it was leaking ever so slightly, I lowered it a little. I might raise it a little. To raise it, I think that means clockwise. Looks like the cows have all figured out their new situation. There's some hanging around the bale ring, some laying down on the ground sleeping, some standing. Everybody just seems pretty content, which is what we like to see. As I was editing yesterday's video, I actually got to thinking in my mind about how many cows we had, how many calves we had, how many males we had, and actually I think it's more likely that we're going to sell between 6 to 8 animals instead of 5 to 6, because we really only have 3 steers and 1 bull right now, which is 4 animals, and that means out of our 20, 16 are either cows or heifers. And I want to keep that number around 5 to 7. So there's going to be a big number that are going to leave the farm. It's good. That's the business that we're in. I would like to be in a place where we can expand our cattle herd, but we just don't have the pasture to do that. So keeping it at that smaller level, that's okay. And selling animals, that's kind of our business. We've got 2 trips to make to get some bales, but before we head down the road, I wanted to use my fuel gauge to check, make sure we don't need to get more fuel. Oh, look at that. We've got a good 20 inches of fuel. That was 9 bales there. Obviously, we're going to need a lot more bedding for the hoop house this winter, but those were close by and he wanted to put his cows out where those were stored. So I brought those home right away. We'll figure out when we get the rest of them where they come from. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do the rest of the day. I am kind of just, my mind is just kind of blown. And so I'm trying to find easy things to do that don't take a lot of mental processing. The thing I'm gonna go do right now is just go get rid of all this steel from the back of my truck. That way I have my truck able to use and it's just another load of stuff off the farm. I'll be the first to admit that I get a little bit overwhelmed when I think about all that I want to do on the farm, all that I need to do on the farm, all that I hope to do on the farm. And by a little bit, well, it just depends on the day. Sometimes it's majorly overwhelming, sometimes it's mildly overwhelming. But I think about that movie. Do you guys remember that movie? You probably know what I'm talking about. The movie, What About Bob? There's like baby steps up the stairs, baby steps down the woods. It's just biting off those little pieces that help me continue on when I feel overwhelmed by what's going on the farm, by what I want to get done on the farm. And getting rid of this metal in the back of the truck, there is hardly any there. There is not even 100 pounds of weight for sure. But it is something that I am getting rid of the farm that I feel like I have control over, and when it's gone, it's gone. I don't have to worry about that thing anymore on the farm. So that's my encouragement for you today. Let's take a lesson away from today, and that lesson is the movie What About Bob? Baby steps. I actually don't really remember anything about that movie other than I feel like there was a goldfish involved in some way, and he said baby steps. I don't even remember who the actors were. I feel like they were very famous actors and I should know, but I don't. Ah, man. What about Bob?
And my last $4 but I ain't gone. Oh, I wish I was a mole in the ground.
I haven't been to the scrapyard a lot of times in my life, maybe like 3 times in my life to drop off some appliances. But every time I go there, I feel like I'm coming away with 7 flat tires. I only have 4 tires on my vehicle, but man, it just looks like a flat tire waiting to happen. I think what I'm going to do, oh, goodness. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to organize my hay. I don't have a good place to put hay, and you can probably tell that because I've just got it all over the place. As I come around here, there's bales stacked every which way, basically. Hay stacked all over the place. I just don't have a great place to put hay closer to the winter lot, which is where it should be. I know this is not a good place to store it. I need to find a better place to store it so when I bring it in the summer, I'm not just setting it out in the middle of the pasture. But for the winter, I think this is actually going to be the best spot. It's kind of a high spot. It will stay dry, and I should be able to get to it with the tractor without making a lot of ruts and mud and things like that. I'm gonna hop on the tractor. We're gonna start a time lapse. I'm just gonna make nice long rows of bales here on the top of the hill.
I wish I was a mole in the ground. Was a mole in the ground. Sure, I'd push that mountain down. Oh, I wish I was a mole in the ground.
There is our bale supply for 2020, 2021 through the winter. It is 9 bales by 5 bales, which by my math means 45 bales. I typically would figure that would last us about 21, 22 weeks. So it would take us to towards the end of April, which is about right. If I do get worried about hay, I've got another, I don't know, 20 bales or so that I could actually bring home. The cows are in their winter quarters, the pigs are in their winter quarters, but it doesn't feel a lot like winter right now, thankfully, so that's a good thing. I want to thank you all so much for watching the video today. It was probably a little different video, probably a lot of music actually, now that I think back on what I did during the day. So let me shout out my brother, Jake Book. His music is what I use in all of my videos. If you haven't figured that out so far, he plays banjo guitar. He's got friends that play with him, so there is a link in the description below every video that has links to his music on Bandcamp. You can buy the digital CDs, and I think he's even got one physical CD that you can buy right now as well. So shout out to my brother Jake Book. There would be no music if it wasn't for him, because royalty-free music, it's difficult to find really good stuff, and I enjoy my brother's music. So thanks for that, Jake. Thanks for all of you for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time here picking up this pile of lumber, putting it onto that rack. Then I'll figure out what I can do with it. I would like to just cover it with a tarp or something so that we can use it in the spring or this winter if we have a shop where we can work.
I'm going to the West next fall. Well, I may do well and I may catch hell, but I'm going to the West next fall. Well, I've been in the pen so long. Well, I've been in the pen so long. Well, I've been in the pen with some rough and rowdy men.